The following program is sponsored by The Greek, Ely's Radio Shack dealer at 570 Altman in downtown Ely, and brought to you as a public service by Georgetown Media in Ely, Nevada. White Pine County Tourism and Recreation Board meeting, September 28th, 2021.
Hey, it's 4 o'clock. I'd like to call to order the White Pine County Tourism and Recreation regular meeting. This is September 28th, 2021, 4 p.m. This time, I would like the Pledge of Allegiance. Kyle, would you please lead us?
Yes, absolutely. Oops. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Looks like we have Kurt and Marietta and myself on Zoom. Is there any of the board members present?
Not here yet, but we've got word that they are on their way.
Okay, and we do have a quorum. At this time, agenda item 3, public comment. Is there any public comment on Zoom? Hearing none, let's go to the meeting room at the convention center. Is there any public comment?
Come on up, George.
Ready? Okay. Thanks.
Where's George? Real quick,
Sorry, gotcha, George.
let the record show that Brian just showed up.
Thank you.
Madam
Hello,
Chairman,
Mr. Chachas.
thank you. Madam Chairman, I'm again reminding you I requested a copy of the written report from the consultant that did the ski resort study. I want to remind you the study was paid with room tax monies and not a private group or individual. You need to have accountability for the money you spend. Madam Chairman, I want to remind you I've yet to see any reports from those that have received monies through aid organization grants from the Tourism and Rec Board. The reports are required so that tracking on progress can be evaluated and assessed. Now, I asked in the past, and I'm asking again, are the organizations failing to comply? We need an answer. This makes the 6th time that I've made the request. At some point in time, we should know that. If the organizations, again, are not compliant, all funds need to be denied and stopped until compliance is made. I want to remind you, this board has a fiduciary responsibility, and it appears you're failing. After months, some answers, some work, some time, we're not getting it. Madam Chair, at the City Council meeting held on August 12, 2021, the City Council gave a reduction in utility for a property located at 790 Avenue I. The outstanding bill had not been paid for 7 years and amounted to over $8,000.35. Excuse me, $8,035.41. The owners paid a little over $4,000. I want to know if that property is on your Airbnb list. I thought I saw it listed at one time. I want to know if they have a room tax license from the Tourism and Rec Board. I want to know if they have a special city special use permit. If they do, I want to know when they obtained it. If a property doesn't pay all of its obligation, then it needs to be shut down. You can't treat one any better than the other, and it appears that you're doing that. The owners of that property have no business sitting on any boards regulating others or any other boards. That's all I have at this time, but I'd like some answers. These are getting old.
Thank you, Mr. Chachas. Is there any more public comment at the convention center?
Nope.
Seeing none, we'll go ahead and go to number 4, new business. A, discussion and for possible action, approval of agenda, including removal of agenda items. Do any of the board members have any changes to propose or deletions to the agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion's been made by Marietta for approval. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Was that Ian?
Yes.
Sure.
You can-
Okay.
We'll trade off that.
trade off.
Thank you so much. All in favor, please
Aye.
indicate by
Aye.
saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item B, discussion and for possible action, approval of the minutes from August 24th, 2021. If you'll take a look at those, are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? I didn't see any. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion, Carolyn.
Thank you, Brian. It's been moved by Brian, and I'll entertain a second.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item C, discussion only, review of the financial report. And since there are so many of us on Zoom, Kyle, if you can kind of direct us to the,
Absolutely. So what we'll do first is the room tax report, which is the breakdown of each one of the lodging properties for their contribution in August. And I'll just give everybody a second just to find that in their packet. Okay. So how that breaks down is for the hotels and motels, there was $206,628.18 collected in room tax. If you'll notice, the Holiday Inn Express is listed twice. If you combined both of those numbers, that would be their total monthly, but what we did is we broke down, the Holiday Inn sold, so there's now a new owner that started halfway through the month of August, and so that was just kind of an acknowledgement that we do have a new owner for the Holiday Inn, and they started about halfway through. For the RV parks and campgrounds, there was a total of $16,067.01 for a grand total of $222,695.19 collected in room tax for the month of August. That breaks down to $6,767.44 to the golf course. The city of Ely got $35,600.31. Railroad got $32,991.88, and Tour and Rec retained $141,149.58 towards the budget. Is there any questions at all on this document? There's a hand in the audience. Mackenzie, are we taking questions on this, or is this?
It's up to Caroline.
certainly, go ahead.
George, which question?
Very good, thank you. I noticed on your report you have total receipts and then taxable receipts. You know, on some of the properties there are different, I'd like to know what the difference is. Is it 30-day stays or is it something else?
30-day stays would be an example of something that would be a non-taxable.
What is it in this case?
Let me come by and get the exact, on what it was specifically for this month, what distinguishes non-taxable sales.
Okay, that's fine,
So,
thank you.
Any other questions, George?
Not at this time, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
so the next document that we'll go over will be the month-to-month room tax comparison. So compared to August of 2021, this fiscal year's August was 12.9% above where we were at this time last year. So just showing, again, still a little bit of growth. Thankfully, the construction is still going on for what seems like about another 3 weeks. So I think we'll be good before the dreaded fall drop-off or winter drop-off happens for a while. What we'll go to next is the budget. And so that would be your budget comparison. Just looking at it, you know, there's not anything where we've overspent. The only thing that's over is the insurance and taxes, which we always pay right off the bat, and then the Main Street program, which we went ahead and cut the check right off the bat. So how we're looking right now is we're at an operational surplus of $104,975.12. Is there any questions about the budget? Still relatively early in the year, so it would be a complete shock to see something that was spent all the way through other than those two items. And then there was just one more paper in your thing, that's just the hotel comparison. I won't go over this. This again is just for the board's knowledge of, and how we use this is we look for major spikes or drops in any hotel revenues. And if we see that, then we'll go ahead and contact them and see if they're doing any renovations or what's potentially going on. So kind of more of a, I won't say an internal document, but something that, we look at periodically just to make sure everything's looking good.
Kyle,
Yes.
excuse me, I'm glad you gave this breakout for the Holiday Inn Express, except this sheet that you just gave us only only has one of the listings on the Holiday Inn for August, as opposed to the two.
To the double, okay, so we'll fix that total right there and.
Yeah, so, because it will throw off the total, I would think, too.
Yep, good catch, Caroline.
Okay, and then, I think with, how we're really looking, I don't think that 2020 is a really good benchmark for anything, even though we were up 20% and then 12.9. Could you ask Jeff if he could add the 2019-2020 column in there, because that's really what we're judging against for the comparison report.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we go back, I just know from our internal documents, we're that much more above where we were at for 2019, 2020. So anecdotally speaking, August of last year, we were above where we were at in August of 2019, 2020. So we showed a growth even despite of COVID during the month of August. And this is an additional growth over that, which was a growth from the year before. But I'll certainly have that added to the next report.
Yeah, it just adds a little bit more relevance to
Yep.
it, so, on
Yep.
things, so, okay, I appreciate that. And is that it that you have for the financials?
For the financials, yes.
Okay, are there any further questions on the financials? Hearing none, we'll move on to item D, which is discussion and for possible action ratifying the bills. And I would like to disclose that I have an interest in Bath Lumber. And so that bill will be separate, it'll be the next agenda item. So do you wanna go, look at the bills, everyone? And I have checked them today, and Kyle and I have gone over any questions that I had, and I think Kurt, you had a question, which was great and was answered, and anyone else have any questions or comments about the bills? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to
Madam
accept.
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we pay checks 10503 through 10572 in the amount of $160,618.90 minus the Bath Lumber bill.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. It's been moved by Marietta and seconded by Kurt to ratify the bills. Any questions? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And then let's go to E, discussion and for possible action, approval to pay the bill to Bath Lumber, and I will be abstaining from this. Any questions on the Bath Lumber bill before I hear a motion? And I did have questions on that, and I believe that next meeting, or before then, Kyle, you'll be giving a tour of our back rooms.
Yeah, I'm gonna include that in the facility update for my director's report, and then when all of the upgrades are finished, then we'll be doing the ribbon cutting where the board will get to come back and see it in its full glory.
Wonderful. Well, we're getting very high tech, so thank you very much. I would entertain a motion for, thank you, Ian.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Ian has made motion and Marietta second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item F, discussion only. It's the executive director's report. Kyle?
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and do a screen share as I go through just to help out, just to help keep me on task. All right, so the first thing of many is I want to announce that we did just expand our public art inventory this last month. I found this horse sculpture It's, the metal horse sculpture is made by Augusta Callaway. It's made from old ranching equipment. It stands about 15 feet tall and has an actual horse skull as part of the sculpture. The artist is from Oakland, California, and the piece has been to Burning Man 7 times, but the artist is a horse instructor. She does therapy with children through horses. She's very, very much into the horse scene in Oakland. So when we found the sculpture and we started talking, the idea is that we were going to work with the city, the county, and the Corral Association to get a location on that corral property that would make it feel like it's part of the corral, but it would also spice up the view from the train, which goes past, and there's that extremely blighted property on one side of the train track, but we'll have a nice sculpture on the other side of the train track. And the whole concept is that if we truly are an art community that appreciates art, we have to expand it outside the borders of the downtown. It has to be art in the places where you don't expect art to be, or art as a way to beautify or combat blight in an area. So I think, you know, with all the stuff that the Corrals have been doing, the partnerships that we've had with them, all the work they've done to clean up their act, I'm excited about this partnership, and we're working with Breck Brothers to prepare the site, lighting, you know, everything necessary for that. And honestly, I believe this will be a piece that we'll go ahead and we'll unveil during Fire and Ice in January. And so no big immediate rush on this one. It's going to take a little while, but I do want to say that, you know, this is a new art piece that we did just get for Ely, and I feel it's very White Pine County. I wanted to go over Race the Rails, and so Race the Rails, we had a couple things that worked out to our advantage. One of which we scaled down the size of the medals, so we got a little bit more of a discount on the medals. Normally the medals are about $2 more, but with going down one size, we'll still keep in the quality of the metal of it. We were able to save a little bit of money. Still did the volunteer coins for all of the volunteers. The t-shirts we got a discount on because there was an error, not on our part, so when everything got done to our satisfaction, there was a nice price break from that one. We did the food for 120 people, the train rides, the beer koozies as part of the riders pack, and then food and drink and everything like that. Essentially, we had about 20 people on race day less than we did last year. There was one group that actually broke down in Eureka County on the way out here. Tires blown, everything like that. That was a huge hit. So even despite having a slightly lower attendance this year than in past years, we only ended up losing $208. Whereas last year I think we made, I want to say, about $208. It was our first year actually breaking even from putting this on for the community standpoint. But we sent out a post survey, and this is kind of what I want to go through here, just real quick, and just so you can kind of see where the attendees were. This is the 5th year that we did Race the Rails, and there was a couple things that really stood out for what we want to do for future events. So the first one is we do have repeat people that have come out. A few of them have come out for all 5 years. But those people are bringing new people each time. Okay, it's kind of like you're getting brought into the Race the Rails family. For the last 3 years that I've been here, about 50-50 road bike, mountain bike. I mean, it is almost split right down the middle of who participates in what. Everybody was very complimentary of the Eventbrite registration, just the ease of it. Very complimentary of the ease of the check-in and rider pack pickup, so that's all logistics for Nicole. And this is where it kind of...
Excuse me, are you sharing this? Because we can't see it.
Can you not see it?
I should be able to see it just.
No.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me try again.
No, we just saw the amount of money, but he's reading a survey, I think, unless you can see it, Marion.
Can you see that now?
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we couldn't see it before, so thank you very much.
Yep, thanks for letting me know. Okay, so going back to the first, so this is the amount of how many times people have participated in Race the Rails. And I would say we had half the people that participated complete the survey. So,
Sounds good.
not too bad. Road mountain course, registration process good, check-in good. Train ride was awesome to pretty cool. Nobody had anything bad to say about the train ride part of it. When we asked about the enjoyment of the bike ride, almost everybody said it was super fun and just right. Only 2 people said that it was a little too short and easy. But I think when when the mountain bike trails get built over there, we'll be able to address that. The quality of the lunch provided, this was one of the take-homes. Everybody enjoyed the lunch that was provided, but when we asked how could we make this event better, overwhelmingly everybody said they wanted the banquet back in the freight barn. That the bag lunch was nice in response to COVID, but they really, really enjoy the banquet part. And this is the answer to that. So out of the 23 people that answered, 20 of them were like, I will hang out and stay for the banquet. The value of the event was regarded right on point or extremely great for the price. And again, it's about $85 for participants to do this event. How we could improve the event for next year, this didn't come up when I downloaded this, but the 2 things were, we want the banquet back, and we need to figure out a better start. Because what's happened is when the mine bought all of the property from BLM and took the tracks out that went under the bridge, they also took the bridge out and blocked it off. And so this was the first year that we had to kind of cram everybody into a closed off area and try to do a start. It wasn't the class act that we normally put on for Race the Rails. And so my thought on this one is there's the dirt road that goes down right to the tracks. And what happens is the train lets everybody off. The mountain bikers pedal right up to the start, and that's no problem. But all the road riders that can't get dirt on their tires put their bikes on their shoulders and hike probably about a quarter of a mile down this road to get to pavement before they get on their bike to go to the starting line. So I met with Frederick Partey today, talked with BJ, with the engineer from Great Basin, BLM, and we're going to try to work on figuring out a way to pave that road. And since that's going to be the official drop-off point for all the trains to trails, why don't we just go ahead and deal with this right now and make it a little bit more accessible, nicer, suitable for bikes and road cyclists, and that can become the new starting line for the event. So the ball's rolling on that one. That again, just today that I was checking with Frederick about what it would take and whose property that actually was. These next 2 are great because it shows where everybody was coming from, so mostly Nevada and Utah, some California, some Arizona. We had a rider from Kentucky come in, so that was our furthest person who came out, was a rider from Kentucky. And this one, how many nights did you stay in Ely while attending this event? Most people stayed for 1 night or 2 nights. Nobody came for just a day trip. There was even a 3-night stay, which is awesome, and that's what we want. And I would say that is directly related to the fact that we had other stuff going on that weekend that helped people stay. So the astronomy festival people went to, the high school, middle school rodeo people went to, the Beatles, White Pine Public Museum, that's that light blue one down there. And then the others were things like the charcoal ovens, Cave Lake, things like that. So it shows that when you're doing complementary and ancillary events, that people do stay and hang out.
Kyle, may I ask a question?
Yes.
When we did our survey for the horse race attendees, did you happen to ask them what they felt they might be spending during their stay, like we did?
On this one, I did not ask that question. But it is a very important question to ask. So I'm glad you did with your horse race attendees. That's just more fuel for your fire, Marietta. Okay. Okay, so with that said, I'll just kind of go through the rest of my report. The Council of State Community Development Agencies, this is like GOED for Nevada and other states, had a conference where Ely was invited to do a presentation about our destination. I did a 17-minute pre-recorded presentation, And it must have went well because we started getting a number of messages and texts and phone calls after it was done from people that I've never met before saying that they really enjoyed the presentation. So that was good. We did, you probably saw, get the EDA grant for the Toyabe Trails Institute. Press releases were going out from the State Department of Outdoor Recreation. That is the trail building university that will be coming to our college, our town, collaborating with a number of different agencies, but I saw this in news in Colorado newspapers, all the way to California newspapers. And so this is a really big deal that Ely's being able to position itself not just as a destination to recreate, but a place where we actually are training the next wave of industry professionals to continue to build more trails. For Travel Nevada grants, we got a grant to reprint a bunch of materials, so we're working with Jade right now to update any information, photos, and getting that out to get reprinted. We got funded to do an art-specific promotional video, so the Main Street did one about the murals and the mural tour. This is going to be one that's just going to be more like Ely as an art destination. And then we also got money to hire a writer to continue our storytelling campaign. And so we'll be able to do 8 to 10 new stories off of that grant. For our marketing projects, we are just waiting for one more mural to be done until our new mural tour brochure is done. Jade is wrapping up the shooting sports brochure. We've got the facilities guide, still working on that one, kind of in progress. And then we, Sea Otter Classic, which is an extremely big, regionally significant bike festival in the Bay Area. We've got some ads in publications that are out there specifically at that. And then, like I said earlier, from the facilities standpoint, the back rooms are all wired up for the technology. The TVs are getting installed once all the rooms get painted. One of the rooms has been painted with its accent blue color, but it will all be completely done by the time we have our next meeting for you guys to tour. And other than that, we've just been keeping up on weeds, trying to keep all our different properties looking good. And with that, I will turn it over to Errol for the marketing report.
Hello, thank you, Kyle. I'm just gonna jump right into it with Facebook. So you might have seen we're currently finishing out the month of September with a fall campaign and what gets us excited for a White Pine County autumn. And so we've been doing that across the board. So jumping in with Facebook, I do have some updated numbers from my media report that I'll just give you that I checked right before the meeting. So as far as followers, we actually have 6,293, which is a 124 increase rather than 57. So it's 124 from a month ago, so last meeting. Below on the chart, you can kind of see the chart has kind of changed when people are logging into Facebook and when they're looking at Facebook. Over the summer, there were major spikes around 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock. Well, because school started and everyone's schedules are changing, it kind of just has like a steady increase, as you can see. But there's little spikes at like noon and 4 o'clock and 4:30, and so I try to schedule my posts around there, and I've just been seeing how that's going, and so far so good. I included a little bit of a look at one of the very first fall posts we did for this campaign, just to let everyone know how successful it's going, and we're getting a lot of engagement, we're getting a lot of reach. The orange bar on my media report with the 8.3 thousand, that's actually up to 10,000 now. I just checked it right before the meeting, so it's still reaching even though the campaign for it is done, that we put some money behind. It's still getting some reach, it's still getting engagement. But that's still not even the highest post. We made a Ward Charcoal Ovens, stargazing at the Ward Charcoal Ovens post, and that actually has even more reach than that, and that's up to about 13,000. Moving on to Instagram, again, I have some updated numbers. So we're up to 2,583 followers, which is plus 34 from last month. And then on Twitter, more updated numbers. Over the weekend, we got 412 followers, which is plus 15 from last month. So we're just trying to give you updated numbers. lot can happen over a weekend, and we gain a lot of followers, especially when we're in the midst of a campaign and when we're boosting things and when we're getting most engagement over the weekend, especially because people are free and they're looking at their phones. Moving on to targeted digital. Under display targeting, we have our search retargeting, which received over 166,000 impressions, 152 clicks, and a click-through rate of 0.09%, which is up from last month. And under search engine marketing, we received 7,727 impressions, 531 clicks, and 9 leads. Moving on to the website, our top 5 pages this month were the homepage, lodging, things to do, the Silver State Classics Challenge event, which is on the calendar, and our dining page. Under new versus returning visitors, 84% were new and 16% were returning. Under device breakdown, you can see desktop received 40% visitors, tablet was 4%, and 56% of people were visiting the website on their phones. As far as sessions, page views, average session duration, and bounce rate, they were all up this month. Again, if you look at bounce rate, the average for a high content website, which we are, bounce rate is about 60 to 65%, and so we're right in the middle of that, which is average. And just other updates as far as the calendar, the Nevada Northern Railway is having their Haunted Ghost Train runs from October 22nd to the 30th, which I believed on the website, last time I checked, they're sold out, but I believe they are doing what they did last year, which is you still can have tickets available at the railroad if you just show up, and they leave a little gap in there in case you want to get tickets the day of. And then October 23rd is the Lions Club Pumpkin Chunkin', which we just got the official poster yesterday from Jade, and we made an event out of it. And we're gonna start marketing that heavily, making a post about it tomorrow as part of the fall campaign, something to do in October. And that's all I have. I'll be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Errol. If I could just add one thing, Kyle, you kind of glossed over the 17-minute pre-recorded presentation, which didn't give it quite its oomph that it takes to put a 17-minute presentation together. But this is for the conference that'll be in Reno next year. It'll be the national conference, and Patty Herzog from GoEd asked Ely to be a part to give this presentation to their virtual conference this year. And then Tonopah and Wells also had, but we were able to secure the date that most people would be participating. So it was a really big deal, and I thank you very much, because putting together a 17-minute presentation is a lot of work. And the whole idea is we want to invite them to come to Ely after or before the conference. So good job.
Thanks.
Do we have any further questions? All right, we'll move on to item number 5, old business, discussion only board member reports. Kurt, do you have anything to add today?
Not at this time, thank you.
Thank you, Marietta.
We're all excited, our new cooler freezer that goes underneath the fairgrounds will be here October 18th. So we didn't get it in time for the races, but we're getting it, and that's what matters. So thank you very much.
Great. Ian, do you have anything to report?
Nothing new. Been a quiet month.
Thank you very much. And Brian?
Nope, I don't have too much to report. Probably next month we'll have some information about more mountain biking trails.
Great. Well, you've been out building trails, so
Definitely.
thank you very much. The next item is discussion only agenda items for the next board meeting. And since Kyle had that unexpected video presentation he had to put together, I pushed the ambassador training report and rollout to next month. So that will be on there. And then any other requests for the agenda next month? All right, hearing none. We are at item number 6, public comment. Any public comment on video? Seeing none, we'll move to the Bristlecone Convention Center. Any public comment?
George is coming up.
All right.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Madam Chairman, I want to remind you that on numerous occasions that I have not seen anything on your agenda in regards to this board pulling support from what I call Predators Park. You guys call it Heritage Park. We're not growing in this community. We'd like to be, but we're not. We've got plenty of parks, and that particular area in particular has some negative connotations. We've got one missing young girl since 2003. Recently, we had another one incident with a trucker, and we don't need any more parks up there. We need to support what we have now. I want to see something on what this board intends to do. I'm not happy with the fact that you guys are promoting a park that far out, close to a school, with that many trucks in that area. National studies say you stay away from a school located next to a truck stop, and we're doing just the opposite. The other concerns I've got, and this goes back months, I'm still concerned about the parking lot across the street. Not any proper ADA access, new construction. You need to address that. I've not seen anything in regards to the money given back, to be given back from the community choir for pigeon control. That was a private club. Wasn't a public facility, still isn't. That money needs to come back. I've not received anything in regards to the Nevada Northern. It's spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, not under the open meeting law. We don't know how it's being spent. Rumors of money have been embezzled, either yes or no. I want to know. I want to know where that money's at. If that board can't do it, then this board needs to pull its support until you get their attention. Part of the concern I got is from years past, Shane Bivey was chairman, 15 years, not one red cent collected in rent. And if I'm wrong, I'd like to be corrected. But we won't know that unless they operate under the Nevada Open Meeting Law. That needs to be addressed. I also asked about money that this board has given to the county golf course. What was the increase in play over the last 4 or 5 years? We still don't know. Again, either we have rules and regulations, requirements of everyone or no one. And if they can't come up with the proper documentation, thank you, then they shouldn't get any money. I have an ongoing concern in regards to the former director, Mr. Spear, who was a contractor with the board. Again, you have a business license, commercial location, home occupation. I see people applying before the city and the county all the time for a special license for home occupation. He's no better than anybody else. We need to address those reports that I gave you in the past. Not reports, but requests for public information.
Is there any more public comment? Hearing none, we will adjourn the meeting. Thank you all for participating.
And everyone, just a reminder, I'm gonna have the board stay and we're gonna talk about a litigation session. We're gonna excuse the public pursuant to NRS 241, but if everyone can just remain for a few minutes. Correct.
Judy, I'll submit these requests again for a date stamp at a later time. Thank you. This has been a Georgetown production. George Chachis reporting.